What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? So today I want to talk about HRC. Why aren't they filling in? And if they do, who are they going to get? West Coast is back this weekend. We get to see Deegan and Juju. But let's not forget, Jordan Smith won the last round. Cole Davies was looking really good. Is Joe Shimoda's finger better? I'm going to get into all that and more. I hope everybody is enjoying their Nano Xtreme. We've got a ton of samples out. If you want a sample, don't take my word for how good this stuff is. Send me your address. Please do it in the same form as P. Davey here. Do your name, address, and email. I take these, copy and paste them, and get them over to the guys at Nano, and they get your samples out as soon as possible. But you definitely saved me some time, because I've been going through thousands of emails, copying and pasting these things. So if you do it the right way, just know I appreciate it. Check out Coach Rob's YouTube. He has so much good content over there. The Jeremy Martin interview, the amateur podcast, numerous podcasts helping you with your fitness. I mean, he's got everything over there. So subscribe to the Coach Rob podcast and get a variety of content.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So there's been a lot of debate. So with both Lawrence brothers out for the remainder of the Supercross season, I think Jet's probably out for the remainder of the season period, not just the Supercross season. But with Hunter getting shoulder surgery, he looks like he's set to return to outdoors. That leaves two bikes just sitting there. Now, according to Lars, they do not have sponsor obligations. A lot of times these teams will get an outside sponsor, and to fulfill the agreement, they have to have a bike on the track. Apparently, that isn't the situation with the HRC team. But that doesn't mean it's not a bad thing to have those bikes sit. It is absolutely a bad thing to have those bikes sit. It hurts their future sponsor negotiations. So if I want to sponsor HRC in the future years, and I know that both their riders get hurt, and if this happens, they essentially just don't race, am I really going to want to sponsor that team? It is something they should do. They don't have to do it contractually, but they 100% should do this. And there's plenty of guys out there that they should grab to put on this bike. It's a good story. It keeps them in the press. And they can give somebody who really needs the opportunity, an opportunity to be a factory rider for half of the Supercross season. Now let's talk about some of the guys being discussed as a potential fill-in rider at Honda. The first one that I want to talk about is Justin Hill. This is a hard no. Justin Hill would be stupid to leave. Right now, Justin Hill's riding for Team Tedder. They are doing everything that he needs over there. They rent factory equipment from KTM. He gets to run his own program the way he wants. The one thing about Justin Hill and Josh Hill, they are free spirits. They do not work well in a stuffy corporate environment. So if he were to leave Team Tedder, first off, he'd leave those guys high and dry who busted their butts to get him where he's at right now. He leaves them high and dry, goes over to Honda. They know he's just temporary. They don't really care. They're just going to get him in the main events. They're not going to make huge adjustments to the bike and get him comfortable where he needs to be by the end of this year. And unless he goes out and wins 4 rounds in a row, there's no chance they retain him. They don't even have the money to retain him if they wanted to. So for him to walk away from this Tedder situation, which is perfect for Justin Hill. If you ever ask me, what's a perfect situation for Justin Hill? Get him on a team with legendary manager Kenny Watson, his buddy, who's going to understand how to communicate with Justin Hill, get him factory equipment. And here's the other thing about having the factory equipment rented. He can make changes to it. Remember last year when Sexton went from, WP to KYB suspension? I know they kept it kind of hidden. The reason he did that is he rode Justin Hill's bike, and Justin Hill had already switched because he has the freedom to do whatever he wants with that factory bike. He's not limited to what the factory tells him he can do. And with his results this year being as good as they have been, Justin Hill would be insane to leave Tedder and jump on a strange HRC Honda. But let's be honest, every single guy that gets on that bike hits the ground hard. Now, is it the bike? I don't know. At some point, you got to look at it. Every single guy on that 450 has gotten hurt. Now let's talk about another guy that wants on that bike. This is Ryan Brees. Now he rides for the MCR Honda team in World Supercross and Arena Cross. He's got one more Arena Cross in Daytona, and he wants that HRC ride to finish out the season. This is a career privateer that's on the best team that he's ever been on in the MCR Honda team. And he would love to jump in on that bike. He's already riding a Honda, so it's not that big of a change, and finish out the Supercross season as a factory rider and maybe show that he's a guy that someone else might want to hire. That's the opportunity. Now, I would love for Honda to give Ryan Brees an opportunity on that bike. That'd be great. Now, the other guy that I'm really looking at is Dean Wilson. So he's at the twilight of his career. He wants to ride the end of Supercross, but he's not going to pay his own way to do it. Now, this would be brilliant. Dean Wilson is a man of the people, a guy who you know can make it in the main events. It's a good story. And I do have to credit that knucklehead Steve Matthes. Apparently this was his idea. And I have to agree, that's a great idea. And I would love to see HRC put Dean Wilson on that bike and let him finish out his career at Honda HRC for the last rounds. That would be a great story. I've also heard their test rider, Trey Kennard. Yes, he put out that video saying, is it time to get back? And he showed him on Jet's bike. If I remember correctly, he had elbow surgery not too long ago. This for me is a hard no, even if he is good enough to go racing. Trey Kennard is a legend, an all-timer in this sport. He got out before having any serious injuries. He was very close to being paralyzed. He's had a lot. I don't want to see him get hurt anymore. For him to go and race on HRC, they're going to want results out of Trey Kennard. I just don't want to see. I don't like when guys come out of retirement like that after they make it through their entire career and they end up, somewhat okay at the end. I really don't want to see him go out there and possibly get hurt again. As much as I would love to see Trey Kennard racing Supercross, I hope he doesn't. I hope he keeps with his test roll and does what he's doing right now. Stick with that. You're done, Trey. It's over. The dream's gone. All-time legend. Please don't go out there and get hurt again. Another guy that makes kind of sense, but not really, is Dylan Ferrandis. Dylan Ferrandis is on the Phoenix Honda team. This is very similar to like Justin Hill. Why would you ditch the Phoenix Honda team that has got you where you are? You've got the Honda equipment. You get some factory parts just to head over to the HRC rig. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, really? It's just a lateral movement, and then you're hosing the people who have been behind you last year and this year. I would say stay where you're at, Phoenix Honda. Unless Phoenix Honda asks you, hey, we want you to take this, then don't. You do whatever Phoenix Honda wants you to do, but it just seems like a stupid move, and it doesn't add someone to the series. That's why I want to see Ryan Brees or Dean Wilson. I want to see them add somebody who's not currently in the series. Check out Ride Strapped, best goggle company, glasses, shirts. And I know real soon we're going to have to do signups for the Cooksy Cookout, which will be the Sunday after the Daytona Supercross in Daytona Beach. We'll have some food and just hang out. So we're going to have about 20 spots available. So as soon as that signup is open, I will let you guys know. Precision Transport, the best shipping company, family owned. They give you tracking numbers, reasonable pricing. Hit up pretransport.com. Check out Motobilia. Motobilia is a high-end motorcycle memorabilia website. If you want to sell your high-end stuff, get with Motobilia. If you need to buy some stuff, check it out. It's just a really cool website, motobilia.com. So I had to laugh the other day. I listen to a lot of the other shows. A lot of the guys, the media guys say, oh, I don't listen to their show. I do. I listen to a lot of their shows because any information I can get from wherever I can get it that I don't already have is what I want. I was listening to the review show with Matthes, JT, and Weege. And by the way, I really like JT and Weege on that show. Matthes, I can put up with him.
That's probably true. Lawyers have ruined everything. And
he will do and say whatever it takes to make himself better and look good. He tried to sue Yamaha.
Every time.
That's probably true. Lawyers have ruined everything. And
they had all these rule changes. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, because of Matthes. It was sworn to secrecy. He felt he worked too much, basically. The dude was lazy and slow. Everyone else got their job done. They settled out of court for a certain amount of money. And then he had to go and do something different because no one would hire him in the industry. He's just nestled in with the right people, the establishment or the swamp. He's just an extension of that. My uncle's like, yeah, when it came time to tear down the tent, he had to sit down because his cankles were swollen and, everyone else was cleaning up. So.
I laughed so hard when, of all people, the guy who sued Yamaha to say lawyers ruin everything. No, you Canadian liberal. Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of Canadians, but he gives you guys a bad name. People like him are why people think Canadians are all knuckleheads, because he comes over here waving his Canadian flag, acting like a tool bag, and then we kind of think that's how most of you guys are, and I know that's not true. But for a guy who sued factory Yamaha for working conditions, and one of the major pieces was that it be held silent and nobody could find out, what a dirtbag. It's not lawyers, it's dirtbags like him that want to sue. Him, his buddy Rich Taylor, it's no wonder they're friends. They both sue and then lie about it. So no, Mr. Mattress, it is not lawyers, it is people like you that ruin things. The guy is your classic nerd who thinks he's cool, and I don't like how he takes shots at people. He punches down. They were talking about lappers and communication systems, and they were talking about, well, Matthew's like, who's going to charge him up? You think Greco and his raccoon and his car is going to have, like, come on, man. Really? You got to make fun of Greco? And it's such a stupid thing. This is him spewing whatever was told to him. This is him protecting whatever the promoters told him and why they're not doing it. This is him telling the party line. But why does he got to throw Greco in there? That's just rude. Greco is a Renaissance man that's living his dream, racing Supercross, living out of his car. I think it's an awesome story, and I think Greco's a bad dude. I don't want to make fun of Greco because there's nothing to make fun of. Dude is badass on a dirt bike, living his dream as a professional racer. End of story. But this technology, like who's going to charge them up, the communication systems, look at what we have. We have right now a leader light on the bikes. It goes green every time the leader's there. You're trying to tell me they can't use that same technology and put a little light on the handlebars that shows blue when you're getting lapped or red when there's a restart. Come on. It's really easy. Check out Alias MX, some of the coolest gear around. And you go to the track and you get this really cool gear and then everyone else, 3 other people have the same gear. Well, right now Alias is kind of not the most popular. So if you want the coolest gear out there and you don't want to look like everybody else, I'm not saying at some point they won't be the most popular, but right now you get to be the coolest dude out there with Alias MX gear. I can't wait this weekend. We got Deegan returning. We get the West Coast guys. They had 2 weeks off and there's so many question marks. Can Juju recover from that really bad Phoenix round? Because it's very important that these guys don't have a big point swing because the next race they have is Indianapolis. It's an East-West showdown. Any points you can gain here in Texas before they go to Indianapolis are going to be very, very important. And how about Joe Schmoda? He rode through that broken hand from the pitboard incident, which they still haven't fixed. Guys, get them a stepladder. Just get the mechanics a stepladder so they're above the riders, and we never have to worry about somebody getting hit with a pitboard again. But I want to see if Joe can bounce back. Are his fingers good enough? Can we see who he was at the first of the year? Can he start winning races to close out this series? I think he can. Are those fingers good enough? Can he get back to the winning ways early in the year? I think he can. Thanks, guys. Thank you, members. And remember, all you members, there's going to be about 150 of you now. We're giving away a Rick Johnson signed